Okay, so I have this radio here. I'm not sure if I featured it in the video or not. I don't think that I did. If I did, we're going to revisit it. If you notice, this antenna has some cut wires. That's because this chassis and that battery compartment there and that ferrite core antenna below it, all this came from a different Philco radio. I had a Philco radio with a very bad cabinet in poor condition. I got this radio, and the chassis to this radio did not work. The chassis probably needed a capacitor, probably had an open or shorted capacitor, but it did not work. So I modified this chassis, which was very similar, to go into this radio. Similar in that the knobs were in the same place and things of that nature. I had to make a little bit of a spacer because the tuning dial was kind of touching the face and it wasn't able to be tuned. This battery arrangement was in the other one. I had to actually drill holes in the cabinet to install it. I drilled those holes. And it's using that ferrite rod antenna instead of this, which came with the original radio that was in here. But similar chassis. And I powered it up at the time, just like this, which is the way it's hooked up now, just so I could test it. And it obviously works. So a couple of things. One, we're going to install this, which I had built prior. But I also want to see, we always talk about like how low will these radios play, like how low on battery voltage will they play. So we've got right now 7 of these batteries, and we're going to do a little test here. We're going to see how low in plate voltage we can go and still have the radio operate. So let's get to doing that. I'm not planning on digging out the digital voltmeter for this experiment. This will be good enough. We can get a rough estimate of power, but let's start off by seeing what we have right now. All right, what we have right now, our 7 9volts is showing good on the 67.5 volt scale. You can see that little bounce when you initially turn it on, it draws a little more current, then it settles. Turning it off doesn't do much. All right, so let's remove a battery and let's see what we can hear. Okay, so we removed one. We're still showing in the good area. Still plays. Let's see if we can find a strong station. Experiment seemed to end very quickly. I think the battery voltage dropped below a viable point already. Let's put that battery back on and see if it starts working again. Okay, that wasn't the battery. There was a tube that was loose. Give the tube a little wiggle, and volume came back. Right, so let's go back to our experiment. Okay, so now we've dropped down to 4 9volts. So basically, 4 9volts would be what? Sorry, 6 9volts. So 56 volts or so. Still sounds pretty good. Let's take it down. We now show weak. Let's see what happens. It still sounds pretty good. So what do we got there now for voltage? 45 volts?
With 11 presidents of political parties and changed their minds. So a bill that was going
45 volts still sounds acceptable.
Then was
all right, we're now at about 36 volts, 4 9volts.
Or at least let the opposition to run.
Still sounds pretty good.
Cannot run for the elections until 2030.
let's put it down to 3. I think it'll play on 3. 3 batteries. What do you think? Is it going to play? No. 3 won't play. The oscillator won't fire up with 3. All right, so we know we can go down to about 36 volts, and she'll still play. Right? 18, 36, yeah. So we learned that. All right, so let's get to what we're here to do. Inside that box, in exactly that configuration, although all connected together, is 7 9-volts. That's what's in that box. And although the box is a bit beat up, that's because of the way I assembled it. But there we go, 67.5 volts, showing good. We're going to install that. Part of the other modification I had to make is I had to grind out some of the case because this handle is sticking out further with this chassis. It's not the same chassis exactly. I had to make a spacer though. This tuning control was touching and wasn't able to tune. So I had to do some modifications there to get that chassis to fit into this case. Okay, there's that. Now here, we're paralleling batteries, which I personally don't think is a good idea, but that's the way these radios were designed. See that? It works on one or the other. So you might ask, why don't I like paralleling batteries? The answer to that is simple. One of them has always got a higher charge than the other, and one of them will tend to charge the other one up, or try to, resulting in a discharged battery set. I don't like it, but that's just the way these radios were made. Let's see how equal we are. This one is right before the edge. And let's see what the other one looks like. About the same. I still don't like it. We want to make some period correct looking batteries first, so we have these labels here, and we are going to fix them to these batteries here. The very first thing I do is laminate the paper with clear packing tape. There's one finished. I think it looks pretty good. It's still gluing. They look pretty good. I think they look really good. And they're gonna look real nice in there. So there we go.
The Democratic Party
We have good looking batteries.
For the short term. It'll come back someday. But now it's done.
Period correct.
On Tuesday night as well.
We have a working radio.
Okay.
So there you have it.
It's
another Survivor.
For any of them.
Period correct power. And this is what we do as a hobby. This is what we do to keep ourselves sane during the winter. When we're not in the pool, we're not riding our motorcycle. There you have it.